'Tis the season of joy and celebration, but not all holiday tales are wrapped in warmth and delight. I welcome you all to a chilling exploration into the shadows of Christmas. So be sure to grab a cup of cocoa and cozy up by the fire. Today, the festive spirit that we all know and love will take a haunting turn as we delve into three bone chilling real life incidents that occurred during the most wonderful time of the year. A few days prior to Christmas Day in 1929, Germantown, North Carolina, Charles Lawson took his wife and 7 children into town. They went shopping for clothes and had a family portrait taken as well. This didn't seem like completely unusual behavior for Charles to treat his family out to some Christmas shopping, but juxtaposed with what he did to his family on Christmas Day, you may think otherwise. Charles shot and bludgeoned almost his entire family, killing 6 of his children, including the baby and his wife. Upon the murders, Charles went into the nearby woods, paced around a tree, and took his own life several hours later. The only survivor was the eldest son, Arthur, who was sent out to run an errand. While the motive behind the massacre remains unclear, theories did emerge, which ranged from Charles' mental state being altered from the head injury he received a few months prior, as well as Charles wanting to cover up his sexual abuse of his own eldest daughter, Marie, who may have been impregnated by Charles. The latter theory holds more water in the sense that it possesses the most support for its plausibility, due to the claims made about the incest from the book The Meaning of Our Tears, which contained information about a conversation that Marie had with a close friend, Ella. A conversation in which Ella was informed by Marie that she was impregnated by her own father. As the theory suggests, Charles resorted to massacring his family so the secret wouldn't get out. In 2004, a man by the name of Bruce Jeffrey Pardo met a woman by the name of Sylvia. The two formed a connection and married each other just a couple of years later, in January 2006. This connection and their marriage, however, didn't last for long, as within the first year, their relationship fell apart. This occurred due to a multitude of reasons, such as Bruce refusing to open a joint bank account with Sylvia, and potentially because Bruce was concealing a child of his from a previous relationship. Sylvia was taking him to the cleaners, so to speak, according to what Bruce said to a friend, as he was ordered to contribute a substantial amount of money in spousal support from the divorce proceedings. To add insult to injury, Bruce was fired from his job as an electrical engineer due to billing false hours during this time as well. The divorce was finalized a week prior to the heinous tragedy engineered by none other than Bruce Pardo himself. On Christmas Eve in 2008, Sylvia and her relatives were enjoying themselves by hosting a party at their house in Covina, when all of a sudden, there was a knock at the door. Bruce's niece answered the door, to which she was greeted by Santa Claus. Only, it wasn't actually the holiday icon, but Bruce dressed in a costume, and he did not come bearing any gifts. Instead, he shot his niece and several of his in-laws, while dousing the inside of the house with fuel out of an air compressor. The fuel unexpectedly came in contact with an open flame within the house, and an explosion erupted. This resulted in the injury of 3 people and the death of 9 family members. One of the survivors managed to flee and contact the police, but by the time they arrived, Bruce was gone and had apparently formed an elaborate escape plan. A plan that involved renting multiple rental cars, one of which was booby-trapped, buying a plane ticket to Illinois, and having supplies as well as a map to Mexico. Bruce was not left unscathed after the fire, however, as he incurred serious burns on his limbs and was discovered at his brother's house, dead by a self-inflicted gunshot wound. This final incident took place near Carnation, Washington, a small rural town east of Seattle. That Christmas Eve in 2007, law enforcement received an unusual call, one that sounded like people were arguing at a party, according to dispatchers, and a call that only lasted a few seconds. Nevertheless, dispatchers had police check out the scene, to which they encountered a locked gate to the property. This gate was enough to deter the officers from investigating the situation any further. Little did they know that beyond the gate they refused to bypass, there was a horrifying murder scene. As it turned out, Joseph McEnroe and Michelle Anderson, a romantic couple, hatched a heinous plan to wipe out Michelle's family. They arrived at Michelle's parents' house, armed to the teeth. The boyfriend, Joseph, distracted the mother, Judy, as she was wrapping Christmas gifts, while Michelle targeted the father, Wayne. Eventually, both the parents were killed, and the couple lied in wait to ambush Michelle's brother, his wife, and their children. It was the wife that made the phone call referenced earlier to the police when she was attacked, but the phone was destroyed before her cries for help could have been heard. Acting on the intent to leave no witnesses to the crime, and the belief that the kids would forever be traumatized by witnessing their parents being killed, the couple murdered the children. It was only a couple of days later when a coworker of Judy went to investigate the house after noticing she didn't come into work. One look through the window was all it took for her to call the police, as she saw the victims' lifeless corpses, and shortly after, the couple was arrested and confessed to the murders. Apparently, the motive behind the killings was money, as Michelle claimed her brother owed her money and felt she was mistreated by her family. As a result of their actions on Christmas, Michelle and her boyfriend Joseph were presented with a life sentence behind bars.